Well, I don't know how you started. Okay.
The show name?
Everyone.
Do it somehow?
I am your host, Corinne. I
You
have
didn't say
done
the name of the show.
Well, it's not time yet. That's not how he does it. I was on Survivor and The Amazing Race. This is my co-host, Al. He's done some things as well. He tours as a comedian.
Yeah.
And we have
on TV for 7 years.
and then we have a guest today. He has played in the Olympics. He won a national championship in 2016.
Well, that's an NBA championship.
Cavs.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he is currently a sportscaster, but most importantly, is that what you call it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll go with that.
My best friend. Welcome to My Safe Word is More.
Yes.
Yay!
Can you say my name?
Oh, no, I didn't. I don't do this part.
I see.
Yes, for
But
those
you've seen
of you,
how shows start.
I'm very nervous.
Why? You
This
know him,
is-
you know me, you know Chris.
This is
What do
Richard
you
Jefferson.
do? Are you okay?
I will be.
Corinne is introducing Rich like when you bring your parent to 8th grade and they're like, this is my dad.
Yes.
He is a lawyer at the court.
Yeah.
Career day here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why are you nervous?
Oh, I don't know. A million reasons. As I was telling you in the car, the audience knows I've been microdosing mushrooms.
Okay.
Yesterday, I took them on an empty stomach. I was spazzing out because I had not heard from one Mr. Richard Jefferson. And I went on a walk to calm myself and I threw up on the walk. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm okay today.
Did you have any food in your stomach?
No.
No. Do you have food on your stomach now?
Yes.
Okay, so you're not going to throw up.
Better. No, I'm not going to throw up. I'm better adjusted now. But
Okay.
anyways, I am so excited to have him here.
Yes.
And I'm excited for you guys to get to know him and our audience. And I figured it'd be good if we do a lot of different things on the show.
Okay.
And one of those is we talk a lot about like relationship advice. And I just thought that I give my stories on here all the time. However, you're somebody who's known me for 20 plus years. And so I was just curious
God.
if you think there's a shot that anyone will ever marry me.
No. Well, no. Let me say this. Marriage is a choice, right? And so if someone chooses you, I think you could have chosen many of people, but I think there's a level of self-sabotage that you enjoy. That you enjoy, or going after, let's say, men that will help you self-sabotage it. So like that's kind of like your thing, but it's only been that way for like 20 or so years.
Right. There's still a chance.
There's still a chance, right?
Absolutely. I wanted to ask you, Rich, does she come to you with dating questions like about her life? Like, because she's got very specific parameters. Do you ever tell her like, maybe the man of your dreams is going to be 5'11"? Because she has very set standards.
No, well, standards is a loose term. I would say, no, I more listen to her rants about the different, dating situations that she's been in. She moved from LA here because she was like, I dated everyone in LA. I'm gone. And I'm like, well, Denver, I don't know. There's more of an influx of people in and out of LA. You get a chance to kind of change the pool over. Here in Denver, I don't know if that's happening as often, is it?
No,
No,
it sure
okay.
isn't. And also, one thing that was not clear to me was that everyone, because we both live together in New York and in LA, and there's a general, we're talking 7s to 10s. Everyone's kind of hot, right? Most people are pretty attractive.
I've seemed to feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Denver where, there are new people, but they're dog shit. They're 3s and 4s. Like, so.
Well, that's aggressive.
That's real. A 3 is, when you throw out a 3, that means that like, even if you just did 2 years in prison, you wouldn't. Like a 3 is low. You could say 6.
A 3 is a streetwalker that doesn't have, because what's a 1? No one's a 1. No one's a 2. Because even if you go fetish, no one's that low.
We might have to edit this out, but is what's her name? The chick that killed her mom and just got out of jail.
Gypsy Rose?
Yeah, is she a 1?
No.
Oh, well, she got her face done now.
No,
so she might be
like
better.
Casey Anthony's still
Casey-
a 5
I'm
or
so-
6.
So glad you brought that up. She's so hot. Did you see? the new video she released, whatever her skincare regimen is, like she looks amazing.
Well, it's amazing given the amount of stress she's been under looking for the real killer, right? I could see that. But,
One of these days.
Yeah, one of these days they'll find. But yeah, so I would say as a human level, we start, as long as you're not deteriorating as a human, we start at a 5.
I do want to ask you this because when you were talking, my homeboy Jim Jeffries, he says like you see hot people, but you don't see 10s walking around. Why is it just that not that many?
Well, no.
You got 2 in studio right now.
That's right.
Look, this is what I feel. I feel like no one's a 10 and everyone's a 10. No one is a 10 because a 10 would imply that that's a universal perfection, right? Across all platforms. And I think that everyone's a 10 because someone can meet you and be like, you are perfect.
Absolutely.
Right? So again, we're not going like all deep, but I'm just saying it's like, I don't think that there's a such thing as a 10. What is a 10? A 10 is a flawless person that checks all the boxes, and they save puppies, but they're a philanthropist because they're sold their company and they have $200 million. And there is no such thing as a 10. A 10 is what you see in that other person. So for Jeffries, and I imagine he's seen a lot of different numbers, I would say
he'll tell you.
I would know, but I would say for him, he's probably like, yeah, there's no 10s. There's no 10s for him. Right? But I've seen other people. Look, at 2 a.m, a 10 looks very different, right? For you, when your judgment call is being made, that's a 10 at 2 a.m. At 10 a.m, that same 10 at Starbucks walking through is like, man, there's no good looking women here. But that same man or woman could be, everything you're
that
looking
should be
for.
the highest compliment. Oh, she's a coffee date 10.
She's a coffee
that
date
means
10.
like
Sober
in the
daytime.
sunshine.
Yeah. Don't give me a 1:45 last call 10. That's a morning 7.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which a morning 7, I think a lot of us will deal with, especially.
I'll take a morning 7.
Okay, we have an advice question from a listener, and I thought I would get your advice on it. I mean, the truth is I do come to you with generalized advice.
It's not advice. You come with generalized rants.
Right.
Yeah, it's not advice. What do you think I should do? And I'm like, you know what you should do. You're just ranting about it. Yes, continue. What's this?
Okay,
What's this person?
so this person asked, how do you deal with the agony of waiting for someone to text you back? I've been out on a couple dates with this gorgeous gentleman, and we've been hitting it off great. But the thing is, I try to keep the text banter going, and it takes him forever to respond. When he finally does respond, it's good conversation, but it takes hours. And we've been communicating on Instagram, so sometimes I can see that he's active, but he's still not responding for another hour or 2. And of course, I get excited when he texts and respond almost immediately, which I feel is total loser behavior. Any advice on how to stop being so neurotic about waiting for text back would be greatly appreciated. I gave her some advice. It was in my little Facebook group that she wrote this. But I'd like to hear yours, and I'll tell you what mine was.
Okay, my advice, get a time machine and go back in time to a place where people were more patient about their communication.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone now is like, oh, he doesn't text me. Do you know, like, motherfuckers work? I travel. I fucking have to be on game. Everybody here's got shit to do. I might not respond to you for 4 or 5 hours. That's not an indication that I like you. Now, if you're past that phase and you're into the, we have been on a few dates, there should be a level of like, I should kind of know this person's schedule. Like, when are you free to communicate? Hey, in the morning, you might have your kids. In the morning, you might have meetings. Lunchtime, you've got X. But around 4 or 5 o'clock, your day starts to slow down. Maybe that's when I shoot the text. Now, if you kind of know their window of time and they're not responding, then you have an opportunity. The other part about it is he's just not that into you, right? That's just the other part about it. And it's like, look, there's 8 billion people in the world. Like, the chances of that individually being so into you that he's looking forward to communicating to you, but not everybody is like a communicator. Oh, I text him at 10 a.m. and he didn't hit me back till 4. It's like, motherfucker, good. You don't want somebody that's that readily available.
That's a bad look when somebody gets mad when you don't text back, because I worked on live TV for 7 years for an hour.
Yeah.
Every day. Text, hey, bro, hit me. I'm like, you know what I'm doing.
You can see it.
Why?
Yeah, they call. It's like,
well, so I think like the big problem I have, because I was just dealing with this, is if I understand, like you're saying, the cadence. Like, I am used to the idea that you are, so I too don't feel like you should have to respond immediately, but like, if I've texted you about something and I know, generally speaking, you get out of work at this time, this is when you're most responsive, and like you're not responding at that time, that's when I dump right into,
Well, and
I don't know how much he likes you.
you're being, but you, I would say you're being neurotic, because it's like maybe that's when he goes to happy hour. I just feel like we put so much pressure on our relationships for constant communication. Now, there's a level of communication in between individuals that's important, but when it's like, look, that might be a funny thing I see on Instagram, that's me communicating to you, right? That might be a text, that might be, yes, but I'm not sitting here having conversations, and I'm one of the people that I don't start conversations until I can get to the conversation. So if you're like, hey, what's going on, what are you doing, and I'm like 5 hours between my game's about to start, or I'm about to get on a red-eye flight, or I'm about to go do this, I'll get to you when I can sit down and have 20 minutes to kind of respond back and forth. But everyone's different. Everyone's got a different schedule, kind of cadence. But then you get to make a fucking adult decision and decide whether or not he likes you.
Yeah. I will say that, because she'd mentioned in there, like, wanting to withhold, like not text back immediately. And I'm sort of like, maybe it's just because I'm older now, but I feel like I was in a position where this gentleman that I want to see this weekend had not yet asked me to hang out this weekend, which stresses me the fuck out. Despite the fact that like it was Monday, Tuesday, and there's time, I'm still like, why hasn't he asked me to hang out? It's St. Patrick's Day. It's a major holiday. Like, and so
where is that a major holiday?
Boston.
Chicago?
Ireland?
I don't even think they celebrate St. Patrick's Day.
It's a holiday for drunks.
So,
it's just like
it's a holiday for Corinne. Cinco de Mayo.
So I was just gonna say that. Those are my two holidays. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I have outfits for both. Yeah. So I'm
not
like,
lying.
I know.
she's
And
not.
so I have like friends being like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm holding the whole weekend open because I really want to see him. And finally, I broke down yesterday after I threw up. I was like, you know what? If he doesn't want to see me and I asked to see him, he's not going to want to see me. If he didn't want to see me anyway and he wasn't going to ask to see me this weekend, same result. So might as well just throw it out there. So I was like, hey, I'd love to see you this weekend. Do you want to hang? And he was like, yeah, how about Sunday? And I was like, great. Now I'm like no longer panicked. But I could have just sat there and played it cool for another 3 days, which I'm very not cool.
But I feel like you guys have communicated enough where you can be direct with each other.
Not
Like,
really.
yo, what up? What are you doing? Like, y'all have hung out for a couple weeks now.
I went on 2 dates with him and I've hung out with him for a week.
All
So
right.
no.
Well,
We
well,
just-
that's got to be your longest relationship in 2025, right?
Yes,
In
that is
25?
the- that's the front
sounds about-
runner.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Look, there's a couple of things, right? In my humble opinion, is that shoot your shot. If they're too busy, then good. Your schedule just opened up.
Yeah.
Right? Like everybody's not everything for you, right? So it's like, oh, I really like this girl or guy. Cool. Well, play it respectfully, right? Be the nice person. Like, hey, reach out. Would you like to do on Tuesday? Would you like to do something on the weekend? Now, for certain people, their schedules are like, dude, I don't know, or blah, blah, blah. But it's like, if you put that out there and they do, good. But I'd always rather just know and then keep it pushing. Like,
Right.
you've cut off more people in your life.
Yeah.
So, like, why would you stress about, is this one going to be the next one I cut off? Because there's always that thing, what if we don't stop talking? What if we don't break up? Then you're just together forever.
That doesn't sound great either.
Exactly. Like, you want to start talking about anxiety.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think, first of all, Richard Jefferson, 26 for president, 28 for president.
Oh,
I love
gosh.
what you're saying about relationships, because I think when people have that, like, we met, I'm texting you, why aren't you texting me back, that energy that they come at, it makes me feel like they just want to be in a relationship with someone. Instead of getting to know, like, what is Corinne's schedule? What is Richard? Does Richard text back 3 words, or does he text back a block? Does he need his Saturday nights off? All these things, if you're interested in really being with me, you'll take the time and learn it rather than just being like, oh, they don't like me. What the fuck? Like, if once you know my schedule, you'll know Al might not text or Rich might not text. He's in the middle of the sky right now.
I prefer people to multi-text me. And that's not from a space of like, I'm important. It's just like, no, if I communicate to you, hey, you can text me a bunch of times. Like, I will get back to you. Like,
Right.
like that. It's not. I don't view that. So, well, I don't want to be bothered. So, well, you're actually bothering me if you don't, because my ADD and the amount of shit I got on my plate. Like, if I do a game where my phone is off for 3 or 4 hours and I get 12 people to text, right? Okay, so now I got to get to these 12 people and either respond or coordinate or do something. Maybe I get to 7 or 8 of them. Then I'm going to bed. I'm waking up to 5 more. Now I got 12 that I got to.
There's a queue.
There's a queue, and the queue just keeps growing. So if you refresh and send to the top of my email, that's the same as sending to the top of my text chain, right? Send to top, and then now if you haven't heard from somebody in a few days or a week, and the same thing. I have many years ago, like it's one of those things, like I've been where it's like you were dating a girl and you would be like, hey, let's do something on Saturday, right? It's Monday. Let's do something on Saturday.
Yeah.
But then you get in your own little world, and then it's like Friday evening or Saturday morning, you respond back. That's a 50-50. You still gotta, every car needs oil and gas, right? You still gotta feed that a little bit, because you can get to Saturday and I've had, women be like, hey, well, I really hadn't heard from you this week. I know we made these plans. I made other plans, so I just didn't know. That to me, I accept and fair. There's also a level of like, hey, once there's an established plan, unless I cancel, there's that. But everyone's communication is different.
Right. And I think just with those 2 words, those phrases they're saying to each other, what she's saying is, I need to hear from you, bruh.
Yeah.
I'm not just something you put on the shelf on Saturday, but that comes out in the form of, I just didn't hear from you. But that's like, I'm not that girl.
But also there's also a level of like, hey, if on Thursday it was like, hey, just checking in to make sure we're good on Saturday. There's an adult side to that too. It's like, yeah, sorry, I had X, Y, and Z going on. Yes, I'm really excited for Saturday. You know what I'm saying? So again, the form of communication for humans is never going to be perfected. There's always going to be, well, I prefer this, you prefer that. And we're all fucked.
Yeah. Well,
we're all fucked.
We're going to take a break, but when we come back, I have a form of communication that I think you'll really get a kick out of.
I don't think so.
I think you will.
I won't. You're doing great, Corinne. I'm really proud of you.
You really are loosening up 20 minutes in to a person you've known for 30 years.
Are you sweating still?
Kind of. I, as you know, am like a bit of a polarizing person for the time. Wait till I finish. For the small amount of time I was on TV, people either love me or hate me, but primarily hate me. And even though it is my first season was in 2008, I still get hate mail very regularly. So I went through, basically the hate mail goes to all the stranger danger boxes on like my different, platforms, and I never check them. So I went in just because you were coming on the show and I was like, I'm going to just try and find like the worst one in my Facebook. Facebook is so weird. Like you have to like really try to go to see those messages.
Yeah.
And there are so many people that are like, saw you on Bumble, just thought and I'm like, you thought you'd what? Figure out my last name and then find my Facebook, you fucking animal? Like,
that's really weird.
It's so weird and there's so many of them. Anyways, so this hate mail came in and what I wanted to know from you, I'm going to read it to you.
Okay.
But I want to understand the level of hate you got.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
go
so
ahead.
we're going to start with mine. This person writes, you are a wretched, disgusting, nasty ass bitch who needs her face beaten to oblivion where you can't even be recognizable. That is horrid. I hope to God your children die and your parents die, and then you have to live the rest of your life dealing with the death of every person of your family, and I hope to God they all die a traumatic, horrible, painful, excruciating death, and you have to witness it. That's what you deserve, you wretched, disgusting, horrid bitch. To speak to someone like that on the show, I am so glad they voted you out when they did because you are a horrid person and you never once deserved anything from that game. And your pictures on your profile with you and that llama, you look like a whore. I don't know where you thought that was cute or attractive. You literally look like a whore who needs to be in a goddamn whorehouse. Now,
I think the whorehouse was implied. If you were
I feel like you're a good whore if you made it to the whorehouse.
I think it depends on your room.
So, outside of majority of it being accurate, I think the only part about it is the llama. I feel like that was a really low blow.
It's an alpaca.
Right? It's like, exactly. What the fuck?
You should have just texted that back.
That's what that literally should be your response. It's an alpaca, right? Like, but look, I think everyone has a voice today, and not everyone should have a voice. I would say this: and I watched portions of your success on Survivor, more first season. I didn't need a refresh for season 2 that you did.
You didn't miss a lot on the second one.
Yeah, no. But I would say this, like, for most people, that's more of an indicator of what they got going on in their life.
Yes.
Right? That's a huge indicator. And it was like, as what was the term she said? Horrendous and
horrid,
she used the word
nasty.
wretched.
She doesn't have a good vocabulary. A lot of repetition.
But given the words that she says, I feel like they're fairly accurate. And you were okay. That was your goal. I don't think people understood that was her goal on the show, which I found funny.
That's
but
good.
I look
She's
at
memorable.
Yeah, but I'm saying for a person like that, what she said is far worse than anything that you did on that show.
Yes, definitely.
So it's like when you're doing that, like if you're putting out that type of energy to somebody, oh, this person in 2008 was a wreck, so I'm going to send them the most horrible. I hope your parents die. I hope your family die. And you're like, well, given that logic, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
What would you say should happen? Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking, and I want to ask you this, Rich, because we're sitting here and we all get hate mail, but we get very different kinds. You get reality show. I can't imagine what it's like dealing with sports fans that are irrational, and I got political.
Ooh, political ones. Well, because political ones are bots. There's a lot of bots in the political space. There's not as many bots in the basketball space. I think it's more of like sports fans that just you forget how much it means to them, right? Like they might go to their job that they're not happy with. They might go to some shit that they're not happy with. And the one thing that they're happy about is their sports team. And if you're shitting on their sports team, you're enemy number one, even if you're just telling the truth, right? You telling the truth. Imagine being in a relationship and someone really told you the truth of what they think about you. That would really hurt, right? It's like, no. Like, you're supposed to look past my flaws and focus on my good. If you sat there and a person that you really cared about talked about all of your flaws, and that's what it is with sports teams. So my hatred, like, again, at 17 years old, like I'd go into gyms and fucking the whole gym would be chanting overrated or doing this. So I'm used to a level of just people just being disrespectful, but you try and avoid those things. Like you'd had to dig deep. I don't get on Twitter. Like there's certain things.
I can't imagine.
No, but it's not. Once you've developed that skin, right? That thick skin of just being like, well, I'm okay. I'm sorry I ruined your day. I'm going to go back to my hotel and drink a beer.
I do want to ask you, because you have that second level, though, because you played recently enough where how do you manage being on live TV and watching somebody that you know and somebody that you like, and they're playing like shit? Do you self-censor or like?
No. Well, to a certain degree.
Of course.
That's a good question. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that's a normal human reaction. But unfortunately, we're not associated. Let me just be very clear. But for her dynamic within the space that she exists and people accept it, my dynamic in the place I exist, people know that I just crack jokes and talk shit.
Yeah.
So like the same thing I would say to you on the bench if you were my teammate, most likely I would say on TV. It's like, you're playing like dog shit. You okay? Everything all right at home? Right? Shut the fuck up, Rich. Leave me alone. It's like, all right, I'm just saying. So if I say that on TV, right, like, yeah, he's not playing great right now. Like, I try and always frame it as if I'm talking to the player on the bench or I'm talking to a teammate. And so that makes it a little bit easy because there are people in the media space that will go, oh, he's a bum. He's got to do this. And, and then that to me it comes across as personal. And that's not the goal. The goal is to analyze. It's like, yo, he's playing terrible. He knows he's playing terrible. His teammates know. He knows he's got to play better. I'm not saying anything. I would sit there, it's like, bro, you know you're playing terrible. You know you're playing like some shit, right? But it's just how you do it. How you do it is the biggest frame.
I felt very badly. I don't remember what his name is, but there was one poor guy who like gained weight and people were just like he was
he an offensive lineman? No, then he's probably not doing his job.
Yeah. Well, there was a bunch of people and he had like some, I don't know, I'm gonna get this wrong, but he had some baby mama drama, and like the one woman he was with.
About Zion?
Yeah, maybe.
Probably.
It was terrible. I was the only time I've ever been uncomfortable. To be clear, I love getting messages like this. I don't give a shit. You can send these to me all day. I just don't want to be forgotten. So like the idea that you carry this much hate this far, I did my job. So like I have no issues at all with it.
Just have an opinion about me. Hate me, love me, just have an opinion about me.
Don't forget me.
That if you have an opinion about me, I've won.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right? I've won. And it's, again, there are people that make their entire basis of their career about I just want you to have an opinion, right? Because the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. Right? Like if you don't fucking, I don't know. What do you think about the Kardashians? I don't know. I don't really. That to them is their nightmare.
Yeah.
And I say that respectfully. Like, oh, I can't stand them. Fine, because then they can respond. Oh, respond. If you're like, honestly, I don't know much about them. I haven't really checked. That to them is their ultimate fear.
Yeah.
So
I always say hip hop has an answer for everything. And that song, if you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping. it's such a fact that like it's a real thing. Because my co-host Erica Cobb, who is a swimmer, shout out my sister, from day one, Black woman on TV, openly married to a white man. So this is a Black woman speaking her mind, sometimes about politics. She was getting it on all sides, Black women, racist white men. And I was like, how are you alive with the stuff people text you? And she was like, it's good for my comments. Get that stuff popping. Erica is with you guys. Yeah.
Engagement. It's all, and that's, again, now the space that you reside in. If you're in the entertainment space, you pick a lane. If your lane is going to be one of controversy or topics in which people have polarizing views on both sides, you're jumping into the fucking, like, you're jumping into the boiling water. You gotta know that's what you're doing. Yeah, it's like, I'm jumping into the space. Like, I know how ridiculous sports fans are. I know that. So when I jump in that space, and it's the same shit, it's like, if I'm watching Denver get blown out by 20 points to Minnesota tonight, and I'm having to talk about, I'm not able to highlight what's going on with Denver because their team is playing terribly. So if I'm speaking so much on Minnesota, my comments about Denver, you don't fucking, you talking all that shit and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, not me. I'm not playing in this game. It's not like I'm talking shit about the team that's up by 20, right? So it's just more of the context of like, hey, man, I'm going to give my opinion. I'm going to live with it, and then I'm going to go home and mind my business.
I mean, how crazy would it be if Denver was down by 30 and you were like, I think both teams are playing great? That would be like instantly like a fireable offense.
Oh, God, I would not be in my job. But that's what, and it doesn't matter what it is. If you're an actor, you have to be able to go and put out a performance and move on. If you're a musician, you've got to be able to write a song, live with the results of that, and move on. Same with anything. You got to be able to do it, live with the results, and move on. Some people are better at it. Some people aren't. I find the people that are able to move on are the people that tend to be most successful.
I think interestingly about you is that you did not have a public persona. You did not have anything until you stopped playing.
Yeah, I hate people.
I mean, nothing. Like you didn't have...
Nothing.
Maybe you had Facebook?
No,
I
didn't. I like maybe Facebook, but I didn't have social media, no Instagram, no Twitter.
Nothing.
Because I don't like, it was amazing. I don't like people. And so,
the thing is, being his friend, like, I knew how snarky and witty and funny he was, but it was fun because no one else knew. Like, even when I would go to his games and they're watching him play, like, they don't know really him.
They didn't know I was
crazy. Then he comes out and becomes like #1 on Snapchat, #1 on TikTok, like, now I have to share them with everyone, which is really quite annoying.
There's no sharing. There is more of now people know. But that was, I guess, that I didn't like social media. I still don't like social media. I don't like the fact that all of these people can engage with you. And even if you're good at something, that was one of the things where it's like, oh, I knew I was funny. I was the youngest of 3 boys. I'd been cracking jokes in locker rooms. I know that I'm, humorous or funny. The world might not know that because that's not for them. I didn't want that. And so all of a sudden I get to a profession where it's like, well, I want to be in the broadcast space and I feel like I can do good at this. And they were like, well, you need social media because it helps elevate your platform. People will look at what you're doing and say, oh, so it's like, okay, I guess I'll do that now. But it wasn't from a space of I wanted it. I've actually missed out on millions of followers because during my 17-year career and winning a championship and going to the finals, I had no social media for people to follow. So I missed out on all of that window. I didn't care at the time, and I still truly don't care now, but I still look at it as like, me being in social media right now is a choice for work. If I stop working and I decide to actually retire again from the broadcasting space, oh, you fuckers will never see me on social media. I don't care.
That is, you and I mirror each other in so many ways, not in height, but like how we did our careers because I would be on television. I wouldn't tell people. I was on a live talk show every day. I didn't post at all. I think I went probably 2 years without posting while I was on TV, and until my girlfriend was like, "Give me your goddamn phone."
Let me say this.
It helped.
Let me say this. That was a mistake by you.
It was horrible.
It was a horrible mistake. So I was making millions of dollars.
I was not.
I was making millions.
I was not.
Well, and that's not to talk, but it's like you got to recognize what I could say. Like, hey, I don't want this because I'm financially good, like I'm career. Then I started going, it's like, hey, I would like to host. I would like to do this. And they're like, hey, well, they gave it to this YouTube girl that has
Right.
500,000 subscribers. And I'm like, but I was just an NBA. And they're like, well, no, that's not how it works. And it's like, okay, well, if I want to
I'll play the game.
I'll play the game. Okay, play the game. But you also have to be somewhat self-aware. Looking back, you would never do that again.
Huge mistake.
Looking back for me, I would have never, looking back now, I would have never not had social media during this stretch where I was like really at the end of my career. I could have gotten such a boost, but you look back on it and it's like, the reason why I didn't is for my own privacy and just like, I don't sanity. I didn't want people adding me and tagging me. And even now I fucking can't stand it. But I think what you have is a great opportunity to tell people, hey, don't get comfortable when you have this moment, maximize it. And it's to ride the wave, ride that wave. Then you're like, okay, well, this show's over, but you know, I got 250,000 subscribers that are looking for what I'm doing next, that are looking for my next project, and I can build off of that. Yeah. Right. So, you know, everybody's got to learn a lesson. Yeah. I had to learn it too.
For me, I'm just a private dude. And I think when you were talking about you don't want to be added, I kind of like my sanity. And if I read like somebody go, you know, why do you hate black women? Like, I would think about that for a half an hour. Like, what did she mean by that? And it's like, I liked my own headspace, but it was still a horrible decision. It needs to be said.
No. But you should also embrace the decision. I embrace it. Like, hey, I didn't do it. I know why. And I'm happy for my mental space during that time. If you were on TV every day and you were constantly reading comments, it would have fucked with your mental. So if you had to leave that positive behind to keep a hold of your mentals, trust me, it was a positive thing. I had LeBron James tagging at Soho Yoga because I didn't have an Instagram. Yeah. So he would tag, like we would do like a photo of like the team and he would tag all the guys. He's like, Richard, what's your Instagram? I was like, I don't have one, but I got a yoga studio. I have LeBron James tagging my Soho Yoga studio in Hermosa Beach just because he's tagging all of his teammates in a photo. That was a missed opportunity.
Your people at your studio a heads up that like there might be some incoming social media?
Well, no, they knew because that was the only social media like account that I had in Instagram, and so they would laugh about it. But also, it's like imagine not starting an Instagram from zero after you retire. That's what I did. Wow. So, you know, that would have been pretty helpful.
Soho Yoga is doing very well.
Well, yeah.
So if you're in the area,
if you're in Hermosa Beach, check out Hermosa. Especially,
okay, we're gonna go to break, and then I'm gonna give him just a little bit of a taste of what we do over here with some Crackhead Craigslist. We'll be right back.
All right.
So one of the things we do on the show is we have different listeners send in fun things to cover. And because I don't give a shit about politics or sports, honestly, one of the things I've glommed onto is
who's the vice president?
Vance.
Okay.
Got it. Nailed it.
It made me think. I was like, wait, who is? I was like, it's the round face guy with the beard.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's got nice eyes. Anyways.
Are you trying to humanize a Republican? Yeah. Okay, that's fine. We're just joking. They're all humans.
Okay. So this particular lane is people who are selling weird things on Craigslist.
Get to it. Just get to it.
Okay.
Get to it.
All right. So he understands the assignment. All right.
Is there a question here or you just want my reaction?
Your reaction.
Okay.
So this is sexy taxidermied rat underwear. The description: my ex's wife pet rats that I turned into a present for her when they died. Light use. He's trying to sell it. Here is what it looks like. And if you're listening,
sexy,
you can watch on my Safe Word Is More YouTube.
That is
Spotify.
So weird. While he's taking that in, I hope not all the way into that is what do you
my wife's pet rats I turned into a present for her. Now, when they died, light use.
Why is he selling them? Did she die also?
But she wore underwear with her rats on them. Honestly, I would buy this. There's no like the story alone.
So
would you buy that?
I wouldn't buy it if I had to go pick it up. Because who knows what hut you have to go to get
I'll
that.
buy it like pre-framed or something.
Yeah, with the note. I bought this on Craigslist and just have it like
Do you know? Because you know a bit about. What's L50? It's British, right?
No, I don't know what L50 is.
I think it's like $100 American.
Oh,
like I think that the price.
Let me see.
L50.
Oh yeah, that's euro. That's
Right?
like, is that the pound? I think that's
Yeah.
the pound. Yeah,
Are you
euros.
looking at euros and calling it
Yeah,
L50? I thought that was a
I
nightclub.
was like, what the hell is L50?
What?
My bad.
You don't know what the symbol for a euro is?
I don't know.
They take up a large part of this continent, this world.
Whatever he knew, and that's why I was asking him.
L50.
Well, so what's like $100? It's kind of pricey, I'm saying.
Well, you saw the Chanel on the side, so there. Yeah, look, I don't know if you guys see this, but
They will.
But again, that's
This is quality.
not everyone should have a voice.
My other concern is like the dry cleaning of this item.
But light use, what is light use? Because people are buying light use underwear all the time, or heavily used.
A lot. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's a
Heavily.
box you can check.
Have you guys started selling your unmentionables?
I should. We were talking about me retiring young.
Yeah.
Perhaps that's the lane I need to be
Yeah.
in.
What's the next one?
Okay.
Give me the next one.
The next one is I need a car battery in exchange for swallowing things easily. Oklahoma City. I need a car battery. It can be used. I just need one. I have to ask for a jump every time I turn my car off. It sucks. Like me. If you can get me that battery, you will be entertained by my useful skill of swallowing things so easily. Don't start asking for pics. I'm a girl. I look good enough, and you're going to be looking at the back of my head anyways, so what does it matter?
The top of her head, right?
You see why this is called Crackhead Craigslist?
Now let me say this again. Goods and services, right? It's like I have, you have goods, I have services. It's like we look at tariffs coming in and out of this country, right? There's taxes, and she's saying like, hopefully that's a she, is saying again, if you have this for me, I have this for you. Now you can gamble and be like, hey, if you got a $35 battery and you can install this, I'll take care of you.
I'm going to go ahead and assume she got that battery.
Absolutely.
She probably has 12 batteries now on her car. Like she probably has
started a battery store.
She's like, hey, I need a refrigerator. All of a sudden, have you seen those like bits on YouTube where a person will turn like a paper clip into a home? Where they'll just
keep flipping
it and keep flipping it. Well, maybe not a paper clip, but they're like, hey, I'll trade you these random rubber bands for $1, and then you take $1 and you just keep trying to. No, again,
like, he got to like a Porsche or something.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Wait,
but for her,
I feel like I could do that maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't.
I told you I sold my 2-pound weights on Facebook Marketplace for $5.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. You know that I'm pretty good at that.
No, but I think there's other services that would be involved in that too. So
yeah.
Look, I get it. I completely understand.
Prostitution's the world's oldest profession for a reason. Like
I
knew what they were talking about.
I don't know if it's the oldest one of.
I think when you don't have any money, what you got? As a woman, you're like, I got these jaws.
Yeah.
Well, I have one more quick thing, and then we're going to get him out of here. So we do this, there's this particular site called Go Naked, and it is just women in Louisiana talking about whatever. And I think this kind of goes into the two things we just spoke about. She asks, how are we dealing with hygiene issues in dating? New guy, he smokes and doesn't seem to wear antiperspirant deodorant. The smoking is a big boundary. I like him, so I've discussed the smoking. Just not sure it's worth continuing if he's going to quit. He did show up last time with clean breath, but his clothes smelled. The body odor is a struggle for me to bring up. Probably answered my own question here, but would love to hear from those who have dealt with similar and how have you handled. Throw the whole man away. I
agree. Throw him away.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
Well, no, it's again, to you, that's a 6. To somebody else that might smoke cigarettes or smoke weed, that might be an 8. Like,
right.
maybe, but this is the thing. Also, you have to assume if you are a female and you are that said female, that whatever you are offering to said man is more addictive than nicotine. Just process that.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked about him quitting smoking. That means that you have to be whatever goods and services you are offering
incentivized
has to be more addictive and more attractive than what William and Morris have been doing for.
Absolutely.
You're not going to get that.
When you put it that way,
no.
I do. This made me think. I do want to ask you, Rich. Have you ever had it? Not necessarily somebody you're dating, but somebody in your life you were close with. You ended up telling me the breath or the pits were a problem, but like you like them, but it's a hard thing to be like, yo, you stink.
If they're a problem,
no, but look, man, we've all every human being has had bad breath. Every human being has had some like body odor where you forgot to put on deodorant or you sweated through it. If you, my boy, tell me if you be a teller. Now, how you tell is obviously it's like, hey,
Yes.
we might need a refresh, right? Or hey, do you want I'm not saying you want some gum, but did you have some onions earlier?
Yeah.
Like, there's a way to do
Yeah.
it, and I'm one of those people that's like, tell me. I don't want to get home and like the 5 people I were working with was like, man, Richard like smelled funny today, and they do forget. And it's like, motherfucker, just like, yo, put on some deodorant,
Yeah.
cool,
Yeah.
and that's fine. We are all humans here, right? But yeah, if you start to get into that space where it's like I'm asking you to quit a substance, then you have to be better than the substance.
And nicotine is a hell of a drug.
Hell of a drug.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Richard, for doing the show.
Yeah.
Honestly,
love you.
this was so much fun. I was mad it took me so long to get on here, right? I appreciate you guys. I think this is a very fun show. I truly think that like you need to loosen up a little bit because if you're only giving them about 6.5, 7.
You think?
Yeah, you should really go just all the way in balls deep. You should go really just let it go.
She's very rigid, and that's the reason that the show works. But I didn't know that there was a looser Corinne. You're always kind of like this.
Oh my God. You get the neurotic Corinne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Unless she's had a couple drinks, like Friday.
And why are y'all not drinking on this?
We used to drink on our bonus Patreon
Yeah,
episode.
you guys should definitely drink.
Yeah, I don't drink anymore, but I'll do an edible.
We called the bonus Buzz Corinne has entered the chat.
and it was great.
Yeah, 100%. Like some real disrespectful things probably thrown around. Edibles
When we had no editing capabilities.
Yeah. I fully support that. But no, congratulations. I think this is definitely your lane.
Well, thank you. You are the reason I got into podcasting in the first place.
Really quickly, how'd you two meet?
I was dating a girl. And she was dating. Have you told that story?
No, but you can.
She was dating Jeremy Shockey, lived like 2 apartments down from me in Jersey, and I was dating a girl. So me and Jeremy connected. So we would like, hey, let's go out for drinks. So we went out for drinks a couple times. He was hanging out with Corinne. Jeremy, great dude. We would chop it up. Her and I would end up laughing a bunch and cracking jokes. So once, maybe a couple months later, I run into her and I'm like, oh, what's going on? Yeah, remember I met you with Jeremy? She's like, yeah, we stopped talking. What are you doing tonight? You want to go for drinks? And I was like, yeah. And I didn't know a lot because, again, I was like 22 years old.
Yeah.
So like my best friend who came to New York with me after I got drafted. So I was with him. That was my boy. Then he went back, finished school. So I was really in New York solo. Corinne, so I texted her and I was like, hey, I'm going to be back in New York. Summer's almost, season started. And she was like, great, this is Fashion Week and this is going on. And I'm like, yo, this girl's got it dialed in. So then I just became like her wingman.
Yeah.
And that's where it kind of stuck.
That's what's up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm
And
so
look at
lucky.
y'all.
And I actually have the picture of when we ran into each other at Pangea. It's a
Pangea.
Polaroid.
Oh, we could go down a story of old New York clubs and bars.
Oh man.
Yeah, that'll have to be for episode 2.
I lived in New
There's
York. What
plenty.
years are y'all talking?
01 to 09.
Yeah.
I was 2003 to 2009. I lived in Eastville though.
So we were
Overlapped.
we were Pink Elephant,
Spa,
Home,
Suede.
Spa, Suede,
Chaos,
Ruby
China Club.
Falls,
Yeah,
Ruby Falls,
yeah,
remember Ruby
yeah.
Falls? What was some of the other ones that were on? Stereo.
Oh yeah, Stereo was good.
Stereo was a good one.
Well, Marquee.
Marquee,
Bungalow 8.
obviously, Bungalow. I'm telling you guys that now the club scene is dead, but
Yeah.
there was a stretch between
camera
01
phones.
and 2000. Oh,
That's why we have a Polaroid, literally.
I want to say
Life was
this.
different.
New York. So Luke, one of my best friends, lived in LA. You would go out in LA. It was cool. You'd see some people. Everyone would go out to New York to go out.
Mm-hmm.
So celebrities, musicians, actors, like people would go to New York and go out because there was no camera phones, and paparazzi didn't mess with you in
Right.
New York. So like that was the scene where you would see everyone.
Yes.
You never saw people out in LA. In New York, you saw everyone during
I mean,
that
wall
stretch.
to wall, every table was another
Yeah.
huge celebrity.
And New York, God forbid, if that place wasn't you could bounce. Like places
Yeah,
were
yeah,
closed.
yeah.
So you
Paul
could, yeah.
Meatpacking,
I'm
yeah.
not going to repeat what she said, but there's a great clip of Gwyneth Paltrow talking about New York. Oh, I'm not going to repeat
I
what
think
she,
I know what you're
you know
talking
the
about.
clip.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
She said, oh, talking about doing drugs and making out with random strangers and blah, blah, blah. That's what New York was because you could just, it was a free for all during that like 10, 15 year
Yeah,
stretch.
and luckily we found each other.
Lucky for you. Lucky for you. That's a one-sided
It did
thing.
bode well for me.
How do you guys close the show? Thank you for joining us.
We say.
Well, I always tell our people, this isn't a podcast just about Richard Jefferson visiting and a podcast about life. We're more than that, Corinne.
Well, I was going to say it's a podcast about Richard Jefferson.
No.
He stepped on my
Well,
line.
then improv something else. You don't just say
Why
it
is everyone
anyway.
making me improv today? We usually say it's not a podcast about life. It's a podcast about perspective, but I replaced the word perspective with something from the show.
How'd that go?
Today, not great.
Yeah. Whenever you have to take somebody behind the curtain, it's not going well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys, for joining us.
Yeah, we love y'all. Shout out RJ.